3/4 clear, now a length. Zafiro can't get him. It's a win for France in the Vase. Victor, the winner, leads. Lucky Swainess is wearing him down. He takes over. Lucky with you runs on, but Manfred Mann is back top of the pops. It's golden 60 for Hong Kong. 4 on voyage bubble. That's not a whip. That's a wand. That ride from Vincent is magic. Golden 60. Straight Aaron, leader romantic warrior, he's clinging on. Luxembourg driving, romantic warrior, I think.
Hello and welcome to another brand new season of the Triple Trio. Some wonderful memories of the Hong Kong International Week of Racing. Clint Hutchison, the best form analyst in the business, and the Hall of Famer in Shane Dye are joining us for what should be a wonderful season. Hutch, God, they're great memories.
They are super memories, yeah. Great to be back, Richo. It seems like an eternity since we were sitting alongside of each other and enjoying that week in Hong Kong, and what a week it was.
It was brilliant, and Shane, no doubt it was wonderful to go back for you. It's been a long time since you've been there.
Yeah, it has been. I've been to a lot of big race meetings in my life, of course, and ridden at a lot of. And I went to Winx when she retired that day at Queen Elizabeth. But I think the biggest one I got satisfaction from or excitement from was when Michelle Payne won the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah,
there was something special about that day. That day there in Hong Kong topped that. That was just over the moon. The races, the excitement, the people, everyone had such a good time. It didn't matter who you spoke to from Australia in the room upstairs where they all went. Everyone just loved the day, and it just worked out so well for Hong Kong.
Having not been back there in a while as well, Richo, I mean, the support, I know Australia didn't have any representation, but I tell you what, on the track, but they certainly had it off the track.
Gee.
I mean, you know, you go through the grandstand, the amount of people up there from Australia was incredible.
They must have been the most populous nation that attended the international meeting. It was extraordinary the amount of Australians you met there. So yes, first thing, there's the challenge to Australian trainers and owners. Get some horses to race there. It's an absolute must, and also we might see that maybe in the Champion Sprint Prize a little later on when we get to, say, April. But we need the international horses to be there from Australia because that week is like no other.
Yeah, if you've got all those people going without any representation, I mean, imagine all the extras that will go. And what about those shots with Golden 60? What about that moment?
And some of the so many highlights for me, Shane. I think the number one highlight for me was walking around with you and watching the reaction of the locals to the Golden Boy. Dicing everywhere we went. It was like walking around with Tom Cruise, my friend.
Mine was when I took you for lobster mango with all that. And the look on your face, you're going, how good's this? We don't get this anywhere in Australia, and it was 4:00 in the afternoon.
Mate. Shane, Richo's not used to someone getting more selfies than him. You were getting on the day there on course, and they remembered you quite fondly, didn't they, the punters?
Oh, everywhere. Well, Clint and I went to find you in that room, Richo, and there was that many tables of Aussies. I said, Clint, we've got to leave. I can't handle this. Every 2 steps I took, someone else wanted a photo. And to get you, there was about 45 minutes and I hadn't even seen you.
Oh, God, love it, mate. It was brilliant to have you back. And Hong Kong racing does remember the deeds of Shane Dye very, very fondly. Talking about photography, Alex Evers' shots that the Hong Kong Jockey Club has produced of all of the winners was absolutely brilliant. And can I start there, Shane? Golden 60. We had Vincent on our show, which was a great thrill for all of us to have him on. And you said to him on our show, please, if Golden 60 wins, can you take the horse all the way down the straight because the punters will absolutely love it. Shane, he did it. He delivered in the saddle. It was a moment I will never, ever forget.
Well, I was up top watching it, and I actually filmed a little bit of it. And normally after a race, people go back into the stands and it goes empty. They were actually coming down to watch him, and it was quite incredible. And I could see all this. Look at all the people. None of them moved. When I got to the races, I actually spoke to Winfred about it, and he said that's what they're going to do. And, of course, the next race was put back 10 minutes because it took so long. But times for next race shouldn't matter when it's something history like that. It's about the people. And those people that come down to see him will always remember that. And they got such a kick. And so did I. It was emotional. It was amazing. There was something about it, wasn't there, Richo, being there watching it? And we don't normally get that in racing, but it was just special.
Well, at the start of the day, if you had said, Hutch, I tell you what, Golden 60 is going to win, Lucky Swainess is going to win, and then Romantic Warrior in a driving finish with a gun ride from J-Mac is going to win.
It was possible, but you would have thought
But you thought one of them will get knocked off.
Yeah.
One of the champs.
Look, after talking to Vincent on the show, he built, I think, everyone's confidence up. He just said the horse is better than ever. This ride from J-Mac. And what about some of the post-race comments as well from J-Mac about what a warrior this horse is, what a great job Danny Shum has done with this horse. I mean, Shane, to bring him back from a Cox Plate victory to Hong Kong, I know it's sort of home track advantage, but he loses that advantage with the travel that he's had. So Danny Shum, amazing, and J-Mac, he just delivered another brilliant ride.
Well, let's have a look at both. What Danny Shum's done is incredible. Last season, first up 2,000 metres to get him to win. He knows the horse so well. And that horse is a sprinter too, remember. He could win over 1,200 metres. And this year, to win a Cox Plate in that race is quite incredible. But at the same time, what about Francis Lloyd? What he's done with Golden 60, first up a mile, a great training effort, and both of them were amazing. And the rides of the whole three jockeys, and J-Mac with that horse, and of course Vincent with Golden 60 and Zach with Lucky Swainess were incredible. They were perfect rides. So it was just a great day being there, great days racing. And everyone from Australia I spoke to said, this is amazing. What a great day. We're coming back. There was no one that left that track disappointed.
And it's not just about the Sunday, as good as that was, it's the week. And, half a week. That Wednesday night.
Wednesday was brilliant.
They've absolutely got it right. At Happy Valley, the atmosphere and the best jockeys from around the world in the International Jockey Challenge is just perfect. I mean, you saw Rachel King won a race there. It was like she'd won the Melbourne Cup. The thrill, the look on her face and the roar of the crowd was just amazing. They get that ride, and then all the events that are in and around at the Hong Kong Jockey Club, congratulations, they do an amazing job. Shane and I then jumped on a plane. Shane sent me a text to say, guess what? The hostess has asked me for a selfie. I said, you are too good, mate. You're the greatest there's ever been. He said, you've only got one nickname, Richo. I've got 5. He got the photo. We went home and we went back to work.
Yeah.
But you fancy pants.
Oh, yes.
You made your way via Bali with a little Bali belly straight to Perth to watch your horse run in a race called the Damien Oliver, which is $1 million plus race. And Ollie rode it. His name is Munamek. The last time Damien Oliver, the Hall of Fame jockey, will ever ride ever in his career. And by G, Hutch, this was a moment, was absolutely brilliant. In fact, let's listen to the call, because the call sums it up perfectly.
Red Can Man took Sava to excel. Ayrton under pressure. Comfort Me. Oliver's getting through with Munamek. Ripcord's coming down the outside. Comfort Me. Ripcord. It's Ripcord. Ripcord, and now Munamek. Munamek has got there. Oliver's got the run.
A moment that the racing world, the sporting world will never forget. And you own the horse with our great mate JT.
Yeah.
What was that like, mate?
And of course, Alex found.
Yeah.
Well done the Cass for recommending the horse come back, of course. But it was a fairy tale. I mean, it was just unbelievable for Damien Oliver to. I mean, he rode the previous 2 winners after starting off the day less than ideally.
Yeah.
And to finish in this manner, it was surreal. It was all about him, part of Australian sporting history, Ollie, and to cap off his career like that, Shane is. I mean, it's every sportsman's dream, not just a jockey's dream. And yeah, it was absolutely incredible.
And there's a couple of likely types in that photo as well. Kirky can get absolutely anywhere, can't he? Well done, Nick Ryan. Shane, where were you? Were you watching it live? Did you see it live?
I watched it. Yeah, of course I did. It was an unbelievable ride, great ride, but it didn't surprise me. He was always going to get back, stay on the inside because it was Perth, that track, and he got a beautiful run through. What a wonderful career. He's ended in spectacular fashion. But I want to bring up one thing that hasn't been brought up. This is the difference between Hong Kong and Australia. Australia doesn't get it. They just do not get it. Now, you saw that race, and Damien celebrated as he's going over the line. Group race, last race, stands up. Yes, that's great for the crowd, great for everyone. What happened?
He got
They
fined.
fined him.
He got fined.
Yeah.
He got fined. Can you believe it? Now, what I hate is everyone thinks it's a joke, and it is. Those same stewards go to Hong Kong to work, and a jockey does that. They don't get fined, right? You do not get fined in Hong Kong. Winfred wants you doing it, right?
Yeah.
Because he knows that's what people want. So it's not the steward's fault. It's the racing administrator's fault, and they've got to get their heads around it and start to realise what people want.
Yep, written and authorised by RS Dye, and I think very few people will disagree. Safety's always been the argument, but this is coming from a Hall of Fame jockey who said it's safe, don't worry.
And we spoke about all that sort of stuff at the end of prior to 2023, but... Look, we've recapped a bit. We've got a bit to get through on the show as well.
We certainly do. Just quickly, just put a bow on this. Shane, Christmas, New Year for you. What did you get up to?
I had a quiet one. I was here at the Gold Coast. What did I do Christmas Day?
Oh.
Geez, Richo, that's too long ago. I can't even remember. I don't even know. Where did I go? Shit. I went to my friend's house, yeah.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took a while to remember that.
Yeah, of course he did.
Had a big day.
Of course he went to his friend's house. Don't forget, we've got a massive show coming up. We've done a lot of fun reflecting, etc. We've got Genius or Slaughter. We've got, of course, our file where we follow the Sid file for future winners. And Karis Teetan's our very special guest. And this is some sort of meeting, isn't it, on Sunday?
It's a great meeting. We've got a lot to discuss as well because we're on the heels of sort of all the 4-year-old series with a lot of good horses. We've had a number of good horses win of high calibre with the likes of Fallon and Galaxy Patch. We're going to discuss all those sorts of things coming up.
Okay, let's burst out of the gates. Well, let's burst out of the gates with all the latest news in Hong Kong racing. And Hutch, we start with a setback for the champ in Golden 60.
Yeah, it was a real shame, wasn't it, to hear that he won't be going towards the Stewards Cup, which of course is the Group 1 race this weekend. But, you know, they're going to do what's right by him and we'll probably have to wait another 6 to 8 weeks and hopefully he's back onto the road of recovery. They'll do whatever they have to do. And I'd imagine, Shane, they're sort of going to take the view, look, they're just going to take their time and hopefully he comes back, and if he doesn't, he doesn't, because what we discovered after him winning in December was that they were contemplating that being his last race, which came as a bit of a shock. So I don't think they'll be cutting any corners here.
Clint, he'll be coming back next season, that horse, if he's okay.
Wow, really?
I think I've got no doubt he will. After what he did and the attention they got from him winning, and if he's okay leg-wise and no injuries, I think they'll come again and have another go, and there's no reason why not. That horse has been so looked after his whole career by Francis and Vincent when he's riding him. It's a combination of both of them. There's no reason why he can't come back as a 9-year-old and do it again.
Yeah.
Well, what's really interesting with this whole discussion
God, he was good.
Like, Winks raced up until 8 and she was as potent as an 8-year-old as you could be, and they went out on a high. Good on them. You know, I know a lot of horses get injured, etc., but do we retire them a little bit? I mean, I know the 3-year-olds, they put them away, the 2-year-olds. I mean, do we retire some of these horses far too early, Shane?
Oh, 100% we do, especially the stallions. There's no risk, but you got to, because there's so much more money going to stud. Like a horse can serve 100 horses at 100,000. We'll work that out. That's not hard.
No,
so they're better off at stud. So they're going to be a stallion at the age of 3. So we're missing out on seeing some very good horses race.
Yeah, I mean, you could be earning $10+ million per year for 3 years in a row before they work out whether you're a good stallion or not, because the first ones start to emerge.
I get all of that.
Yeah.
we don't have as many geldings probably in Australia because of that fact, and we get the geldings, of course, in Hong Kong. But yeah, it's an interesting point. I mean, in recent years, we've even had in England a couple of 7-year-olds, I think, perform with it. Well, Stradivarius was another one.
Brilliant.
I mean, he was going really well up until he was older. So probably because we're a little bit lighter on them early, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Hey, Zach Burton also pre-organised before he signed his new contract to come and ride with the Hong Kong Jockey Club. He said, hey, I need a break in the middle of the year. We've planned a skiing trip. And off they went. They landed in Finland and then they made their way to various parts of the Alps up to Switzerland.
He hates the cold. What's going on?
Well, he loved the cold on this occasion, I can assure you, because when he got off the plane, it was, I think he went to Finland and it was minus 20 that it was there. So, great
What a
time.
great trip. But is it true that Nicole has worked out she's not a skier?
Is it? Well, I don't know. They're your words.
Well, didn't she have an accident?
Oh, did she really?
I'm hearing.
I could
that
be
she
wrong.
may
I
have,
think
yeah.
she did some damage.
Oh,
to
no.
her leg. Yeah.
Oh, well, Nick, get well soon.
Triple trio could be, well, Nick could be a bit like Golden 60. We've just got to have to wait a little bit longer for the preparation. I think she might be...
Oh, Chihuahua. Yeah, I mean,
She had a fall.
Yeah, we love our skiing at our family, but every time we arrive down the bottom, we do a head count. Everyone's alive. Okay, let's go again. Let's talk racing. While we were away, the January Cup. What did you make of that?
Good race, high rating race for me, and I think a bit of a lead probably going forward with more so Helene feeling towards the 4-year-old series, but happy together on the winner. We've been with him all along this season and he hasn't really let us down. He's just been thriving since he's gone over to Frankie Law, and a remarkable job, a horse that's taken all before him this season, Shane.
It's amazing how many horses have improved since they've left Richard Gibson. It's incredible. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I have. I mean, even the Peter Ho horses, in fairness, he didn't have too many, Peter, but Richard's a lot of those horses. I mean, he was going quite well for Richard, but he's been
Not to this class.
No.
He's gone to another level, Clint. He's really gone to another level. He's a nice horse. But we used to talk about him when he was getting beat and was unlucky in Class 3, saying he's a nice horse and going to be winning races. So it's not a surprise.
No.
We raced on Saturday at Sha Tin in a treble for Pierre.
Talk about a guy that's flying.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple on the show. It's not me. You're one of them. We'll talk about that later. But, Pierre he's as I said before we went for the break, I think he'll win it. And his momentum hasn't stopped. This horse is
14 in front now.
6 now, I give. Like, he had the pattern on the day there in his favour again, I give. But you're going to have that when you're a leader and on pace. And what he's doing with these horses, they're just holding their form and continue to race well. And he's obviously improving a lot too. So, good on him. He's going to continue to do well.
Clint, just one thing on that. When we finished the show, we spoke about him. I'd never done any homework on him. So doing homework on him, everything he does is exactly the same as John Sires when I went back and looked at it. Track work, trials, racing. Now, if you remember when John Sires got there, if he got a horse from another trainer, they just won 4 or 5 races. Happened. And that's why he was leading trainer. He doesn't take any horses from other people anymore because he just buys and sells and does his own thing. He's had to take these horses, Pierre, from other trainers. And what he's doing with them is what John did with them. He's not going to stop.
Yeah.
John's horses don't stop when they get form. They keep going up until they reach their mark, whether it be 100 or whatever. So he's here for a long time. And if he keeps going on this system that John's got, when John retires, which is very soon, he replaces him.
I agree to a point. I think the training side, I think you may well be spot on, Shane. You've had a good look into that. But he does a couple of things differently, and he would have taken other things from the likes of John Moore, etc. Firstly, he likes to have his horses up there rolling like they were. You know, he likes to have them
on
prominently ridden. He's happy to be more aggressive than less, I think, generally when they enter a race. And I don't think you would have seen John Sires enter a horse like Taj Dragon out of the handicap like he did when he won that Group 3. John likes to win those races going through and doesn't want to miss out on the wins, if you know what I mean. So, you know...
That's correct what you're saying, but training, it's exactly the same.
Yep.
It's no different to placing or riding a horse. His training going into the race, when I looked at it, They go no more than 800 metres in 50 seconds. They have a trial before. Everything was exactly the same, Clint. So these horses, but you are correct that he likes to have them forward and he might run them out of the handicap. That's different to training.
Yeah. Well, as a punter, the trend is your friend.
Good trainer to follow.
Correct.
Yes.
So that will be the trend, being our friend in that regard. Wednesday night we had doubles to Vincent Ho, Zach Purton, and our absolute favourite, who was a magnificent host for us in Hong Kong, in the brilliant brother-in-law of yours in Casper Fownes.
He's been skiing as well in Japan.
He might just be the funniest human being ever to live.
He's off in Japan, but Casper's going well. He's having a good season. He's going to continue to do well. I love the way Vincent Ho's riding.
Oh, yeah.
And Zach really clicked into... I mean, Zach's always a fantastic rider. I just think it took him a few weeks to build into it this season, but now... I know he's been away, but he's back riding as well as ever, and I thought his recent ride on, I think last month recently on Indeed was great, and that, double back, he's back with a vengeance.
Let's have a quick look at the rankings at the moment to see where your favourite jockey and trainer are. So we've spoken about Pierre, so he has a lead of 14, and Casper Fownes moves into third there. Zach Purton, 52. Karis Teetan, our special guest today, 38. Huey Bowman on 27, who's back from injury, which is brilliant to see. Hey, also just quick news, and this is close to your heart, Shane. The announcement that racing will close in Macau as early as April 1 this year.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like, I was never involved in racing there. I just like living there.
Yeah.
But it's a shame to see it go. It affects a lot of people over there. A very good friend of mine, Jeff Allendorf, he's been there for bloody 100 years, and he's going to have to leave and do something else. So it's a shame it's closed, but the land's very valuable. It's prime position, and of course, it was going backwards. It just wasn't run correctly, apparently.
Yeah, so that's it's a disappointing trend, though. When you add Macau to Singapore, this is a disappointing trend from a thoroughbred racing point of view in that region of Asia.
Well, in the region, we've got Japan and Hong Kong, which are so strong. And yet the other end of the spectrum is obviously in dire straits. So we want to see the sport thrive wherever. And, of course, they all can't be Hong Kongs or Japans. But, you know, let's hope that... I think racing administrators around the world really need to take note. You've got to work with the governments. We've got to, it's got to be something in conjunction. And if you don't get that support, the sport can really, really suffer as a consequence.
OK, let's find some future winners. Sweet in defeat.
They're off, and Sugar missed the start by 4 lengths. Then Dublin Star, Sugar fast buck, smart leader. Oversubscribed, lunges at the post, missed. Sugar, that's a sweet win for Alfie Chan.
Our black bookers are called Sweet in Defeat file, the Sid file. Who jumps in, Hutch?
We've got a few over the last week. It's been a month where there's been plenty of good runs in defeat, but for this show's purpose, we're just concentrating on the recent meeting at Sha Tin Valley during the week. Now, Mastermind, we had something on the other day, and look, the pattern of the day just didn't fall into his, I think, favour, having to be back and wide covering ground, but I thought his effort was excellent in defeat. And Mastermind's going to be a horse that wins very shortly. High rating race, the Gummy race, runner-up, of course, to Galaxy Patch. And Gummy is versatile. I think they've got some options there. Or Weather, Happy Valley, Sha Tin. Not sure if they'll go to that 4-year-old series or not. And then Flying Phantom, I should say, during the week for Brenton Abdullah. This was, of course, Mastermind. Now, I think the shortest way home on this day was clearly better. A lot of the winners through the day came up the inside lanes, and if you covered ground, you really paid a penalty. He just ended up in a really awkward spot, Shane Mastermind, but I like the way that he stuck onto the line. He's a David Hayes debutant. He's not going to take him long before he wins one based on this effort.
Yeah, his trials were good before he raced, Clint, so with a good gate, he's going to race a lot closer and he'll be very hard to beat.
Yeah, but a few lightly raced horses in that race as well. It mightn't prove to be too bad a race, but I liked his effort, Richo, and I think you can write him down.
Mastermind, Gummy and Flying Phantom jump into the all-conquering Sid file. All right, jockeys around Hong Kong, time for you to sit up, take notice, straighten up. Genius or slaughter.
The end across, answering the urgings of Shane Dye. Mannerism coming at him. Mannerism has got it. Daring tactics by Shane Dye. He's got Octagonal in full flight on the corner. Bold tactics by Shane Dye are going to pay off, and he pinches the chipping Norton.
Genius or slaughter with the Hall of Fame jockey, the Golden Boy in Raymond Shane Dye. And Golden, who caught your eye?
Going to do it a little bit different because we've had a month off and it's hard. I haven't even been bothered. But this race here stood out to me all year. This is my favourite race to explain. This is 1,000 metres. This is Explosive Witness and Happy United. Now, you watch the blue cap there, Happy United. And this is what I mean by Vincent's played percentages this day and he didn't need to. He could have been fourth fence here, you see? And he stays off the fence. Now, James started riding Hong Kong poorly, but after a few listenings and talks, he realised that you've got to go to the fence. Now, have a look at these two horses there. Vincent could have been on the fence. James would have had to go round him, but he switches to get inside there, and you watch the run they get. Happy United should have won this race for sure. Explosive Witness wouldn't have won. So, Vincent was playing percentages, right? And you can't do that at Happy Valley. Now, have a look where they are coming up. He's gone from behind him 2 lengths to 2 lengths in front of him, and the race is over.
Yeah.
It's cost him 3 lengths doing that at least. Now, when I'm doing the form in my book, I haven't got Explosive Witness winning this race. I've got Happy United winning it on my everything.
Yeah.
And that's just the difference between cutting the corner. And James, in time, rode so much better at Happy Valley than when he first started because he realised, and that's a classic example. That's one of my favourite races. Now, Happy United was in on Wednesday night, and he was on the same rating, but he should have been 6 to 7 pounds probably worse for winning that race.
Yeah.
So he won at $2.80, and he looked a good thing before the race because of that run, and he got a perfect ride from Zach. But Vincent there tried to play percentages. That's what I call percentages.
Right.
And Richo, our very first show, I'll never forget this.
Yep.
You said to me, you want to see a horse out of trouble going round them.
Yep.
And I said, that's ridiculous. You won't win as many races as you're cutting the corner. And that's a classic example there, Richo.
Yep.
So I hope the boys are watching and they learn from that.
Well, I certainly have, and you've told me and you've reminded me about my statement. That now is the 3,974th time.
The good thing was it was a simple question.
It was a simple question, and the Golden Boy put me in the place.
But you know what's interesting like that, okay? It's something simple to me, but to someone who doesn't understand things how I stand it to you, you see something different. And it stood in my mind how people that haven't, how can I put it, that haven't ridden and been brought up with racing like I have all my life don't quite get it. And it's the same with cricket or boxing. I went to a boxing fight with a world champion once, and after 3 rounds, I said the other bloke was winning, and he said no possible way. And sure enough, he was right. He knocked him out 2 rounds later, the other bloke. He could see things I couldn't see, and I was so wrong. So it's everyone to their sport.
The other thing, there is a little bit of a nuance. I mean, I think in Australia, it's a little different where the tempo may not be as strong in some races, and you probably get more bias. Like you know, I think what you're saying is absolutely right, Shane. I'm not disagreeing with it, but I'm just saying from our point of view here, sometimes that 3 wide trails or 3 wide no cover sometimes in Melbourne anyway can actually be quite
But it's also about, and Shane, you had the personality type to be able to handle it. So what you're basically saying is Vincent Ho played the percentages because, say, 6 out of 10 times he might win the race with any sort of luck if there's no gap up to the inside.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is, hey, take the risk and you will get criticised. If that gap doesn't open for James McDonald and he sits there hard held and goes across the line as a good thing beaten, take the risk because it's worth the risk.
Okay, there's a reason why Zach's not riding as many winners this season as he has done previously. And one of it is because of other jockeys. You have a look how many races Zach gets beat close from horses on the inside, back a bit, coming along the fence where they never used to. The boys are listening and they're riding so much better. Now, a classic example of that was James McDonald on Wonderbar. He never left the fence, right?
Yeah.
If that was the old James, and he hates the fence in Australia, he goes nowhere near it, but he had to change in Hong Kong, and he did. And if he comes back to Hong Kong, he's just going to dominate with Zach. Well,
it was interesting with James and the points you brought up as well, Shane, and you're spot on with all this. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying it's slightly different in Australia. But, you know, J-Mac was saying, like, talking to him, like he's like, I'm finding Happy Valley tough, and he obviously had a bit of a chat to you, and you could really see him sort of kick into gear after a few meetings and things start to, come to fruition.
See, the big difference, Clint, is in Australia they go slower. He's on the best horse, and there's 8 runners, and normally 4 of them are wallers anyway, so you're not going to get snookered. You're going to get a run. So he's just got to keep that horse out of trouble. And when they're going slow, you don't want to be on the fence, right? You want to, if you're on the best horse, you want options. But in Hong Kong, they go a lot faster, and the horses are very, very even.
Yeah.
So you can't be covering ground, and that's one of the reasons I'm going to show you here with Karis Teetan. Karis is riding a lot better than he was. He's a different jockey. From the 800 to the 600, he's cutting the corner now where he never used to, and it's winning him races.
That's the key point as well, I think you say, Shane, is that there's more tempo. It's evenly handicapped. You got to take every little edge you can get.
Karis gets 14 wins since the HKIR for 3 points. He'll be there spewing, thinking, why weren't the boys on air? I would have got 20 votes.
Yeah, I should have had 10.
Yeah, no, he probably should have. But one of those horses was Starlight at 80. Remember, I criticised him over a ride and what he did wrong, and he rode it too close, and he did A, B, C, D wrong. That horse come out and won 2 starts, its next 2 starts, and he rode it back correctly and saved ground, if you remember.
Yeah.
So he's listening to the show, and he's learnt from it. Now, sure, you're going to get snookered sometimes and not get a run, but I never criticise anyone for that, and stewards understand that. Now, Karis there, he on Galaxy Patch, he's on $1.20 chance at the half mile. He could have come out and gone round them last start, but he cut the corner and gambled, and he was very impressive. The other boys I had up there was Vincent Ho. He's riding well, and Golden 60 was just an outstanding ride. And
Andrea at Zenny, you gave 2 votes to, and also Harry Bentley won.
Yeah, well, Andrea, he's ridden winners, I think, every meeting this year, which is 8 meetings normally. And he's riding quite well. And to ride a winner when you're not getting the best rides every meeting is quite an achievement. And Harry's come back, and, of course, he's ridden 4 winners in no time, so it's good for him.
Yeah, brilliant. So Purton 13, Bowman 11, Ho 11, Abdullah and Teetan 9. It's a wonderful list, isn't it, there? There is our idol leaderboard. Shane, you've also run the numbers in regards to the profitability of jockeys versus market expectation. Tell us about it.
Well, if you go and put $10 on every horse, this is the list who you'll be winning off. And I've kept saying on the show, a jockey who doesn't get a chance and is riding a few winners without over-exaggerating is about 1 in 9. He rides, 1 in 11 rides, a winner. Right. But they're always 20 to 1, as Luke Ferraris. He had 2 rides 2 weeks ago at Happy Valley, and they're both 30 to 1. He never rides anything in the money, hardly. And if you're having $10 on him every ride, look how much money you're making. It's huge. Most people run at a loss. Harry Bentley's good, but if you get down to most of them, Yui's okay. He's minus 25, which is more or less break square. But the bigger boys like Zach and Vincent, they're a long way behind, not even on there. But Luke's the best, and Yui's okay, and Bentley's okay, and that comes out with pricing of horses for $10 on every ride.
It's hard for a jockey like, say, Zach or the favoured riders. They usually find it tough, but Luke is riding really well. I can't believe Luke Ferraris, that is, doesn't get more opportunities than what he does. I mean, he's a gun young kid. I hope he does get some more opportunities. And Hugh's been riding, I think, probably consistently throughout the season at an extremely high level. So I'm not surprised that he's in front and ahead of the expected wins, which is also good because the market's all over him as well.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yui's the only jockey I've ever seen come from Australia and dominate and adapt here straight away. I've never seen one other jockey, and you can include Zach, Brett Preble, or whoever you like. They all struggled when they got here. James struggled.
RS Dye? Did RS Dye struggle when he first went?
I'm not including myself. I think the first race I rode him, what happened, Clint? What happened?
You went pretty well. I think you went.
What happened the first meeting?
Let me guess, you rode a winner first ride?
I reckon you won on your first ride, didn't you?
I rode 2 winners the first meeting. Yeah. It was different in those days where it is now, because a lot of stables when I arrived had stable jockeys.
Yes.
There were so many.
You would have necked them. Yeah. You would have got under their neck pretty quickly.
It didn't take him long to get their rides. It didn't take him long.
He just would have taken them out for lunch. Lobster mango salad straight away. How do you resist that? Golden. Brilliant work by you. That's a great analysis. Let's quickly make our way and an update on global racing. Quick update on global racing. It's about our great friends at Whirlpool who are doing remarkable things, and we've been talking about it for a number of years about how that, you know, every other jurisdiction around the world starting to really get behind the Whirlpool because of the unbelievable returns. And now we're seeing in Australia the schedules now come out. You can add Blue Diamond Stakes Day, which is actually 3 Group 1s on the day.
And what's also great about this, I mean, I suppose participation on some of the bigger days were actually Australian race days. I think last calendar year. Great to have Blue Diamond Day in there, and of course that leads into the Australian Cup Day, and then there's a host of brilliant meetings there to look at.
Well, on Blue Diamond Day, you can lead straight into the Saudi Cup as well, so that's the brilliant thing about the Whirlpool. Also, talking about world racing, did you see Crimson Light performance in the USA? I don't know if you've seen this before, Shane. So there's Crimson Light. Somewhat slow away, what we call buck jumping. Drifts completely out of the shot. Keep your eye on Crimson Light. This was at Aqueduct in the USA. Out of shot right now. Hutch, what odds will you give me?
Well, whatever price you want.
Right.
None.
None.
Absolutely none.
But then we wait. Hello. Hello. Watch this.
Crimson Light going to pull this off. It's Perno who's got the lead. Crimson Light, look at this at the line photo. I think Crimson Light did it.
How
incredible.
Bloody good is that?
Back and wide out of the kickback, out of that slot coming back. That is an unbelievable win. Unbelievable.
Ridden by the American Raymond Shane Dye,
yes.
No doubting that. We're going to go and join our very special guest. We've got some star power with Karis Teetan. Let's add some star power, and we do it with a young man who's sitting second on the Jockey Championship at the moment, and he's a friend of the program. Karis Teetan joins us. You beautiful man, you are flying at the moment. Welcome.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for inviting me again. Appreciate talking to you guys again.
Gee, your form is amazing since the international meeting. Since then, and we've just heard from Shane, who's given you a lot of points in the idol competition. Things are going so well. Can you identify why?
You know, in Hong Kong, you always try to try to improve yourself and get better. And of course, I've been working really hard from the start of the season. And also, you know, it all depends on the chances you're getting, which stable you're riding for. So very fortunate to be able to get a lot of chances by Pierre Ung stable. Douglas is also now helping me a bit with some rides. So getting some chances and working hard, and I'm really happy that everything is going smoothly and I can really get some winners.
And you've had quite a topsy-turvy couple of years, Karis, partly because of your health and the issues and suspensions or whatever, but I suppose, and we'll get on to Galaxy Patch and Pierre Ung shortly, but I suppose just having that free run, a little bit of momentum where you can build your consistency and some of your following, that was that a factor as well, you know, the fact you've been out there more frequently?
Yes, of course. Last season was a tough season when I was sick and, you know, had to get over that. And also, you know, I've just been trying to really sort of improve myself in many ways. A lot of work behind the scenes too. So it's really nice to see, like, you know, going to races and putting everything together and it's working out. So I just, you know, put my head down now and just keep boxing.
And of course, you've been watching the Triple Trio as well, which is definitely...
We know that he's definitely been doing that because when we arrived in Hong Kong for the international meeting, his beautiful wife, Xavier, and Karis arrived with their child, and Karis said, "Oh, Shane took votes off me for the idol." And Xavier said, "Well, to be fair, you did make a mistake, and Shane was right." And Shane, you just smiled.
Yeah, well, that was on, I think, Starlight 80, and then he come out and gave it a really good ride. And what happened? Karis. It won its next 2 starts, ridden back a bit on the inside. Okay, so what Karis is doing now at Sha Tin especially is at the half mile, he's cutting the corner. He's not coming out 3, 4, 5, 6 wide, and he's saving ground. And like 19, this is a classic example here. This is Galaxy Patch.
Yeah.
He could have come out 6 wide, 5 wide and gone around that horse at the half mile. 9 out of 10 jockeys would have, because he was 120, he was $1.20, which is very short. But he gambled, and they were always going to open up. It was a small field. He's on the best horse. And the horses are finishing off now because Moogle's a classic example also. He did it on him. I know he didn't win last start, but he ran into 2 very good horses, and it was impossible. But I think that's what he's doing better than anything now. He's cutting the corner at the half mile, saving ground, and letting the horses come home 400 metres. They can't come home 700, 800 metres. And he's riding very, very well. And I'm happy to say it. I gave him more points than anyone for the last 4 weeks.
Do you agree, Karis?
Well, I'm just glad to hear Shane being a positive and giving me some good information. But we all make mistakes and we all learn from it. The good thing is, if you can improve from your mistake and get better, that's a good thing already.
Let's talk about Galaxy Patch. I mean, he is the next exciting thing in the Hong Kong ranks. He's a 4-year-old, so it sounds like Pierre's going on that, certainly to the Classic Mile, but on HKIR day, he carried more weight and ran better time than Lucky Swainess, and we've just seen that win there. So, how good is he?
I think he's really good. I think he's taken everything pretty well. Whatever Pierre has thrown at him, he's really doing well. Like you mentioned, on International Day, that win was really impressive. I think he's still learning about how to race in Hong Kong. He's doing some stuff wrong still, like he doesn't break that well. He's always done that, but he has improved, and he traveled a bit too hard from the first part of the race. So he has improved a lot. If you look at his race from the time he won the first race and until last time, he usually would pull all the way until the 500, 450, where yet last time he switched off. He actually dropped a bit at the 800 with me. So I think it's a learning curve for this horse, but I think in a few months' time, we'll see a really good horse.
Now, Hutch, you do your rankings for the Hong Kong Derby, and it's a moving feast. Where do you have Galaxy Patch?
At the top. So look, what I've done, I've just this is obviously connected because I'm not sure if they're going to go all that way with him or not, Karis, but on these ratings that I've put out, we did last year, we had Voyage Bubble very high out, and they're calculated, weight adjusted, and off a peak performance. So this is what they've put together at their best, and I've got Galaxy Patch on top. That's not to say that he'll be the best performer over 2,000, but at this stage, this is the rankings. He's got the best performance, then Helene Feeling, Helios Express, as we go down. Chilby's right there. But what we see this year is a lot more of a compressed market. I'm excited to see Fallon. He hasn't put up a number yet on my ratings, but he's going to be a 2,000 metre horse and a big chance going forward as well. And we'll see him soon and discuss with Karis shortly. He's got the 2,000 metre box ticked already. So, look, what we saw a bigger spread last year. The Voyage Bubbles, the Keefe's, who didn't really go on with it, Keefe, but Voyage Bubble has, but a bigger spread. This year it seems more compressed, but that's not to say that a couple really can't go up ahead.
So on Galaxy Patch, if we throw the G1 Goldmine pedigree analysis over the top, does it run a good 2,000
This will be exciting for you to see, Karis, because yes, the 1,200 metre box is ticked, but he actually has on his pedigree a very strong suggestion with the analytics that he will 1,800 will be no problem whatsoever. 2,000, not sure, but if a horse on that cross can handle 1,800, then I don't see the 2,000 metres being an issue for him, which is interesting. He looks like a mile. He's been sort of racing like that. I understand you're trying to get him to settle, but he's a horse that may well get the Derby trip.
Yeah, I had a look or so, a close look at his pedigree, and I saw that what you're saying. To be honest, I also believe that he will appreciate a bit more ground later on. He's got a beautiful big action. I think it's totally not my decision what Pia and the owner will do. So at this stage, I'm just waiting to hear from what Pia and the owner will decide with him. So, like say, either way for me, I think if you have to step up over the mile, like I said, he's definitely his last win indicate already. If we have to put him over ground, would not be a problem.
Karis, will he have a 1,400 metre run before the Classic Mile if he was going to the Classic Mile, or just go straight into it?
That's the thing. We don't have enough. We don't have those races for him. The schedule doesn't give us those options, and as well as we're running out of time before the Classic Mile. So I would have liked him to run in the 1,400 next week where Mugen is running. But it did not work out the way we wanted. So he will not. If he have to run in the Classic Mile, it looked like he's gonna have to sort of go straight into it from now.
Okay. Hey, Shane, take Karis through his rides. Give us some insight. The rides over the weekend.
What's he got?
We've got a little graphic there for you.
There's no River Views could get a soft lead. It all depends in that race on Natural Gold. He needs to lead that horse. The only problem you got with him, Karis, it's the A track, and you know that normally they can sit 3 deep and come from off the pace. I'm not saying that's going to happen this week, but that can happen a lot. So leaders sometimes aren't suited, but he needs to lead to win that horse. He's racing well. He was a bit weak last start, but he's got to lead.
I think you got a couple of good chances there. I mean, the one that I'm interested to hear, and I think it's one of the highlight races of the day, is Mugen. But before we get there, Strathpfeffer, he's probably hasn't had the rub of the green really in recent starts, Karis, Strathpfeffer. So what did you think of that horse's chances on the weekend?
I think Priority's last run, he's been running some good races. I think he ran 2 really good races, and you think like he's got a nice set of weight he's been running with. I thought last time, because of his outside gate, he did not get the perfect run. He got caught out. So I think if he gets a good run this time, with that weight on his back, I think he could be competitive.
And
he'll race a lot closer in that for sure. He's got to if he's going to win. He can't get back like the other day.
And tell us about Mugen. I think just the way, he was impressive and probably overbacked at his last start because they went quick in the run prior to this. But this was a race that was more suited those a bit closer to the speed, Karis, and your horse still ran on really well. I thought it was a better run than it looks.
Yeah, he's a really smart horse, and he's improved a lot. I think the owners and Pia, they always rated this horse really high. So when he first had his first win and his second win, they were not surprised because they thought this horse could do that. And like you say, last time I thought that track did not suit him. He had the top weight, but I still thought he ran a great race. He made a lot of ground. I like the way he felt. So I think he will appreciate a bit of ground on the weekend.
I think it's a really interesting race out. We've got some brilliant races on the card. But you hold the key, Karis, because you've ridden Global Harmony. I'm presuming you wouldn't have had the option necessarily this time anyway. I'm not sure. And Mugen. Now, how do you line those two up? Because I think this race, I think those two horses could be the ones that fight it out potentially. How do you compare them?
Yeah, of course, after he won, David was like, well, you could ride him next time. You get your weight. But I was already sort of booked
committed
for Mugen, and I'm happy to stay with Mugen. Like you said, I think it's a really competitive race. But with those horses, with that set of weight on their back, they're gonna be really competitive. The other horse, Global Harmony, last time was a really good win, and he's got a great turn of foot, and if they go fast, he's got a lovely draw. So like you say, he's one of the horses that I'm gonna have to keep an eye on where he's in the run.
There is pace, and it's the A track, so they normally come from off it. But you got Flaming Rabbit who's going to go, Sylvester's going to go, Drumberg Banner's going to go. So there's a few there that can go. So Superb Boy's got to go forward. So you got 3 or 4 that are going to go. So I can't see that being a slow run race. So that'll help those two horses from back.
Yeah, 100%. I think the speed will be on in a race, and it's just gonna play into Global Harmony and Melbourne his favour towards the end.
And in the Stewards Cup, you've got a ride on Fantastic Treasure. It's always a brilliant race, Group 1 race. What are you thinking?
Well, we don't have the champ there, so that's gonna leave the race now a bit open. Not open, of course. You got Beauty Internal, California Spangle. I see they put the chickpeas on.
If you could ride if you could ride any horse in the race, Karis, if you had the option to ride anyone, who would you ride?
I think I would take Wires Bubble on his last run, and he looks like he's one of the horses to beat. Of course, you got to respect Beauty Internal. Zach always rated this horse pretty high, so it's going to be an interesting race.
And you've also got Insured that I think we've got a replay of as well.
It'll be interesting
Derby horse.
with a potential Derby. I mean, he's 2 from 2 over 2,000, Karis, and he's been really tough. The pace in this race was actually really strong. So, brave win. I know you were he was fortunate to win because Woodfire Bro shifted out and cost 5G Patch some momentum, but he was still good on the line.
He's a horse that you think going towards the Derby you would want to be on because he's just got that galloping action where he just keeps grinding. He's got that stamina. So it was a good win last time. I think the horse is still sort of improving and getting better. I'm hoping that he's gonna get a good run again. He should get a good run from that draw. He looks like if he has improved from that run last time, then he's gonna be really competitive again.
And Karis, I suppose just before we let you go, I mean, with Galaxy Patch and not sure where his ultimate goal will be, does that mean you really can't commit to another horse sort of going towards a Derby because you're not sure where they'll go with him? Is that the situation that you're in?
Yeah, I haven't really committed myself to any Classic Mile ride yet. But honestly, I think Pierre is having a chat with the owners and they are still deciding. But honestly, I think speaking to Pierre a few days ago, he's sort of think that we might not go for a Classic Mile. But towards the end, it really comes down to the owner's decision. So, like you said, I'm got my hand tied down. I can't really commit to any horse yet. So, yeah, that's how it is at the moment.
Good luck either way. He's a good one to stick with, so we wish him all the best.
No doubt in that. Hey, you're 14 away from Zach Burton. Karis, can you catch him?
It's still early, but like I said, it's just nice to really riding winners and doing everything well. It's a big task, but that's the good thing about Hong Kong, right? It gets you motivated every day, and the more winners you ride, the more you want to push yourself and you want to sort of keep doing better, get better. So, you know what? If the opportunity is there, why not? I'm never a guy that give up and look back. I'm always looking forward and trying to improve myself. So, yeah, let's see.
Good on you, Karis.
You're a star, mate. You're always so good with your time. Good luck for what should be a great day on Sunday, and thanks for joining us.
Good luck, Karis.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks. Bye-bye.
So there's Karis Teetan, our very special guest, as we have a look at what should be a great day of racing on Sunday. Group 1 racing on Sunday, Hutch, and that's where we start. How do you analyse the Stewards Cup?
Stewards Cup is always a great race every year. It's a shame that no Golden 60. But who was second to him in December? It was Voyage Bubble, and he's the horse to beat. I've got him marked 275 in my early rated price. Straight Aaron could have easily won the Cup, the Hong Kong Cup. So I'm respecting him. I'm respecting that figure. I've got him second elect, even though he's coming back to a mile. He's 2 days between runs. Beauty Eternal, jury's out for me, but I respect his mile. And, of course, he's got Zach Burton on board. Now, Beauty Eternal had the back of Golden 60 in this race, Shane, but it was Voyage Bubble that was stronger late. What did you make of the assessment of this race outside of the winner?
Well, even though I tipped the winner, I backed Voyage Bubble in this because I think he's flying. I think he's the most underrated horse in Hong Kong. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. He's won a Derby, he's won a Classic Mile, and he's done nothing wrong. I think he wins this race, I really do.
Taj Dragon, Pierre, ambitious sort of entry here with a lightweight, the handicap conditions. I don't think any of these can win. Have a look at Attila Begil there, Get Home. He's in a class race later in the day.
Yeah.
But Beauty Joy, I mean, he's always that couple of lengths off them, isn't he, Shane? I expect.
Yeah.
I think he's flying the horse, but he's just that little bit below them.
Well, he should have won 3 starts ago when he dropped his stick against Beauty Eternal over a mile. That was the lead up in November. But I don't think he's as good, and things can go wrong for Beauty Joy. Also, he can pull, get its head up. He's not easy to ride, but he seems to go well for Derek. That's a good thing. Derek's on him.
Shane, what do we do with California Spangle? The winkers go on.
He's gone.
Where's
He's
he
gone.
at? He's gone?
He leads, and it's just, I think he's gone. I think he's not the same horse. And I said that before the International. They were making a lot of excuses for him in the start before, but he still should have gone better. He shouldn't have weakened like that. So it's interesting. Now, Healthy Happy will come across, and whether he takes him on is debatable. He might let him go. And then Voyage Bubble will sit just in behind and get a lovely run. Now, Zach will go forward a bit on Beauty Eternal and try and push James into the fence and be one back, one out. Whether he does is debatable, but I'd say that's what he'll be trying to do. I think Voyage Bubble wins. Straight Arrow, as you said, I think he's very interesting. He's a horse I've rapped for the last year saying how good he was, and he is that good.
Well, hang on. You both scoffed when I suggested he was going to win the Hong Kong Cup.
Yeah.
You both scoffed.
Yeah.
Did he win?
Right. You were right.
Did he win? No, but he was unlucky. He arguably should have won.
He didn't win.
Is there a just getting? You're right, Richo. He ran well. Hey,
He ran very well, Richo.
Shane, is there a price where you'd be interested in California Spangle? Because I found him a hard horse to price. Because if you, is there? If he gets to a certain quote, would you be interested, or you just say no?
I'm not interested if you put up 20s. Well, one thing is that it's the A track, and it doesn't favour. I'm not saying this. I know I keep saying this. I'm not saying it's not going to favour leaders this weekend, but it normally doesn't. So that's a negative. The other thing is, will Healthy Happy take him on? That's a negative. 3 is he going any good? And the answer is no. Now, if he wins, is it a surprise? Well, we all know he's got the ability to win, right? We know that, but I don't want anything to do with him. Simple as that.
Yeah, mate, he's a champ, but maybe we've seen the absolute best of him.
Yeah, perhaps. I'm sitting on the fence.
No, he can come back again.
I don't know what to do with him. He's a really
he can
hard
come
horse.
back again, Richo.
Yeah, he's a hard horse to price. We see it. They can bounce back, but I found him.
They can bounce.
Yeah.
Definitely, Richo.
But he definitely needs to bounce, though. That's your point,
Oh,
Goldie.
100% he does. He's going no good.
Yeah, so maybe a little gap between runs, he might be able to bounce back. Hey, let's move over to the next race, and we move to race number 8 here, and this is over the 2,000 metres. We just spoke to Karis Teetan about Insured.
Yeah,
you've got it on top.
I do. We'll have prices for another race, but with this one, Insured is a marginal favourite over Woodfired Bro. They clashed last start. He's flying, Insured, and I think you have to respect, even though he's up in weight, that he's racing particularly well. The 2 big improvers are Butterfield and the Best Peach. And when I say improvers, I mean that, they're going all right. And their last run at Happy Valley behind Helene Feeling on IJC night was brilliant. The Best Peach has had a run since. He ran really well here. Of course, he went back to a mile for this run. Shane, what was good about this run? Rail was really on for this meeting as well. I know Helios came down the middle, but inside part of the track generally through the day was good, and he was back and wide throughout. The Best Peach was a huge run, back and trip, and I think up to 2,000 will suit him.
Well, the Best Peach hasn't raced past 1,800, but every time he goes 1,800, it looks as though he wants 2,000 metres. You've got to remember that he ran 4th in the Britannia, I think, and those horses that run a mile at that age in Europe normally run 2,000 on their air in that race. I think he's got a great chance. The only problem you got with him is you want pace on. Now, the Toppy will definitely go, the 1, and of course Woodfield Bro will go. And, of course, looking great from gate 14, he could go. So there might be a little bit. You've left one out there, Clint, which is absolutely flying. I'm not saying he's going to win as CP Brave. He's just gone to another level. I know he meets Insured 10 pounds worse from beating him 2 starts ago, which is a lot of weight, and he might be getting back to his mark. But he has raced well off this mark previously. I think he's on 83, and you've got to remember, like a couple of seasons ago, he was 89.
And that defeat that you mentioned, he had an excuse. He went too hard up on speed, and it didn't suit him that day. No, I've got him in the mix.
And Insured never got a run that day, was held up also, racing on pace, as you said, they went too fast. So he meets him 10 pounds better, which is a lot of weight. I think it's a very good race, and there's multiple horses that could win this. I'll go, I don't know. I'll go the Best Peach, I think. Because the track that can help him, the A track, if they're coming from back and wide, he could storm down the outside. And with Yui on him, he's very good on these type of horses. He knows he's going to lay in a bit, so he'll have a stick in his right hand, hopefully.
Special watch as well in the race on elliptical. He backs up from last week. He ran last week.
Is he getting fitter?
He needs to be. He needs to improve. He hasn't put up a number yet, but we know this is more his wheelhouse, or perhaps when
it's a gear change.
A gear change is applied.
Race number 9 is 1,400 metres, so we go from 2,000 metres back to 1,400 metres. We go to a Class 2. Who do you like?
I've got this is a hard race, but I've got the turn of foot that Global Harmony shows is absolutely out of this world. His last win when J-Mac rode him going backwards at the 300 to get up win was unbelievable. Mugen, I think he's in the game. Attila Bagil was in that Taj Dragon replay we showed, and Dancing Code. Well, back to 1,400 is the key for him, and he's drawn well for a change so he can take a more prominent position. Have a look at this win from Global Harmony, though, so had to sit back. J-Mac has to continue to wait. And, what is he, last almost at the 300. You don't see too many horses get up and win from that position. And Shane, what this guy does, he produces an elite turn of foot. He has got a Group 1 turn of foot. Hasn't been in some strong races yet, but I'm hoping it brings out the best in him.
Well, 3 starts ago against I think he ran a 21.72, if I remember. I'm pretty good at remembering figures. I think it was a 21.72. Names, no hope. I don't remember names, but figures. So that's very, very fast. Not many horses break 22, but he can. I think we were very unlucky on International, boys. Remember, we were all standing there and we all put our last on him, and it was about race 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And he was $4.40. And I was saying to you, he should be even money or $2.20. I priced him $2.20 that day, and he was $4.20. He should have won, we know that, but he got beat. And he was $4.20 or $4.40, which was ridiculous. He's very good. I've got him on top from Mughal. And the one you got to watch out for in this race, and he won't get a mention, well, he does because of the owner, is Dancing Code. If you have a look at him, he's been drawing out wide and having to go back. And he's been running into dead ends some races. And he did run Taj Dragon 2 starts ago to a short head, right, in a strong race. And then, of course, Taj Dragon come out and won a group race, beating the nice horses after that. He's got Gate 1 tomorrow. He can race a lot closer. Now, whether that suits him being the A track, I don't know, but he can definitely race a lot closer, and he's a horse who could improve.
Yeah, that race you mentioned as well with Taj Dragon, Helios Express also came out of that race and bolted in. So the formal does tie in, and I agree with you. It's a tough race. This is a fantastic meeting, deep fields, and Dancing Code is right in the game.
I've got my Sunday all set up. I cannot wait to fly back from Perth and just get involved in that all afternoon.
Well, the best bets on the day, I think the last race actually got a great chance here with Storm Rider, who's up in class. Gee, it was an impressive second start. He ran on Hong Kong International Day as well for debut and was beaten by Gorgeous Win, but that's good form. We've seen Gorgeous Win go around with Wonder Bar. He'll be hard to beat. He went on with it up to 1,400 metres, and I suggest taking the Cornellas with the 1, the 2 and the 12. And then I think Voyage Bubble's got a great chance. I think 270 he might start a touch shorter. By the time I finalise my prices, he may well come out a little bit shorter as well. So those would be the 2 main plays of the day, race 7 and race 10. But make sure you log in because the Hong Kong racing on the weekend, it is a cracking meeting.
HutchiesHonkers.com. It's as simple as that, and he will steer you through a day of joy. And then also you might want to write these down because Raymond Shane Dye, the Golden Boy, a.k.a. Billy the Kid, the touch.
That's another one. He's got another nickname.
He told me he's got 5. He's had 5 nicknames. He actually told that to James McDonald, said, you think you're going well and you're going to ride 100 Group 1 winners. You've only got 1 nickname. J-Mac.
Now, what have I put up here? I've got a look. Oh, Kaiying Rising. The other day, James just got the best run of all time on Wonder Bar and stayed. And Zach had to come round them when he got off the fence. I think it'll be reversed. I think that Kaiying Rising will come out and sit outside Wonder Bar, who could lead. And if you're going on last run and the weight difference now, he wins. I think this can repeat, Clint.
Yep.
This horse, He was very impressive in his trials overseas. He wasn't showing up in Hong Kong in his trials, but if you go back and look at his overseas trials, they were outstanding, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a fluke he won first up. He's in a nice race. There's a few chances, like Rise Companions goes all right. And what else is there? Ruby Lot. Speedy Fortune, but he might be a class above them. And from gate 10, he'll be sitting in behind. I think he can win again.
It's a good little multi, that, Shane. I think both of those will be hard to beat. And that is another highlight of the day, the clash, the renewed rivalry between Wonder Bar and Karis Rising, who looks a real special talent. They both do. It's going to be a great race.
And the renewed rivalry between RS Dye and C Hutchison as well, just who can get their best bets up. But I like the sound of that.
We want them all to win.
Clint beats
That's right.
me every week. Clint's too good, mate. He's a genius at it. He beats me all the time.
We want to both do really
That's
well.
exactly right.
Yeah.
I'm
teamwork here.
That's right. There's no I in team, Shane, but in your case, there's 5 in individual brilliance.
Funny thing about this segment, Clint,
What's that?
Richo doesn't get a say in a best bet. So what does that mean? Why don't we best bet up?
Maybe we've got to get one from after
No.
his straight Aaron call. I mean, he was pretty good with straight Aaron.
You thought I was an idiot at 50.
We did laugh at him, so maybe he needs one.
But the problem is he asks simple questions a lot.
Yes, he does.
Oh, we've had a lot of fun, boys. Brilliant to be back with you, Golden. We're going to have a great series, I reckon.
Yes, Richo, it's going to be a great year, and things look great for you, don't they? I saw you in the off-season the last week, or not the off-season, but the last month, I should say, what you've got up to. How do you get this? I want to know how you get this.
Yeah, we'll have a look at
This
this.
is unbelievable. Now, this is what Richo gets given. He gets given. Look at that. Jason Richardson. I don't get anything like this. Now, did they give you a new Mercedes, or did you actually buy it?
No, I just proudly announced as an ambassador for Mercedes-Benz Melbourne, my friend.
Wow.
You've gone from Harry Bentley's driver to driving around a Mercedes, and I love all this as well, Richo. What a lovely car, firstly. How did you get this gig?
Mate, listen, I mean, I don't want to use this as a promotional vehicle, but LSH Auto, Mercedes-Benz Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane and Melbourne Airport. Shane, if you are in the market for a new car, I can help you out. And mate,
Joe, one quick thing. What type of car is it?
it is part of the AMG range, C43 at the moment. But that's
beautiful.
Just tying me over for a couple of weeks until my real one arrives.
What's the real one, mate?
They haven't told me yet, but they've apparently spoilt me. So looking forward to it.
Tell you what we'll do. I don't run this show, but when you got the new one, we've got to put it on there to show what you've been given.
Yeah. We will do that.
I can't believe how he's just taken it to new levels.
Hey, but the beauty is, high tide, all boats rise. And you're coming with me, boys. You're coming with me.
You know what, I'm
I think I'm
surprised?
out of the game.
I'm surprised. There's a new TV show. It's been reinvented.
Yeah.
Called Deal or No Deal.
Yeah.
How come you're not the host on that? I was expecting to see you as the host.
Give him time.
Now that you mention it, I'm going to talk to my manager right now. RS, great show as always, mate. See you soon.
See you, mate.
Hutch, good tipping this weekend,
Good luck
buddy.
to the punters.
HutchiesHunkers.com. Jump on board, and it is a wonderful recipe for winners.